Alright, hello guys, and welcome to your Thanksgiving forecast. This is going to be a forecast for the entire day. Tomorrow we're going to go over the official hazards, our warnings, watches, and advisories, our simulated radar, our total precipitation, our wind, our total snowfall, all sorts of stuff in this video. It's going to be a very, very depthy one here. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this with your friends and family, obviously, as there's going to be a lot of people traveling and having all sorts of family gatherings. This is going to be a day where tons of people are going to be doing tons of stuff, and weather is going to be very, very important to pay attention to. Now, here's our current hazards, so warnings, watches, and advisories. You can see we even have a tornado warning down there. Obviously, by the time we reach the 28th, that will not be there anymore. Tons and tons of winter storm warnings here and watches, as we have two very, very major winter storms going on. We have Dorothy and Ezekiel going on all at once, creating a lot of wintry weather across the United States, even the Northeast as well. We'll get into that obviously later in the video. Now, we even have a blizzard warning up there for Montana, so pay attention to that as well. A lot of the total snowfall that I go over in this video is for today and tomorrow, because what falls today will also affect tomorrow as well, so it's important to calculate both, but I won't be able to calculate what's already fallen, so you kind of have to figure out what's already on the ground where you're at, which shouldn't be too hard, and then also make the addition of what I'm showing, which is from this point forward. Alright, now we're about to get into our very exciting simulated radar, where we're going to be able to take a really good look at what kind of weather conditions you can expect to be happening during different time frames during the day tomorrow on Thanksgiving of 2019. We're going to start with the south central United States, and throughout this video I'm going to be doing different regions so that we can take a zoomed in look, but right now we're looking at the south central United States. Starting out in the morning time, we're going to be dealing with a wintry storm here. This is a little piece of Ezekiel going on down here for New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma, but you can see by time we're at the evening time, that's basically dissipated. We have some snow showers up there for Nebraska and Iowa. When we take a look at the Midwest view, we'll be able to take a better look at that, but we really have a lot of rain showers going on for Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and portions of Arkansas as well. And then down there in the Four Corner States, even some thunderstorms going on, which you'll obviously want to pay attention to. It's really hard to pinpoint where those will exactly be, but be paying attention to your radar if you're in the Four Corner States, because we could have some thunderstorms going on throughout the region, as well as some snow in some regions as well. Very interesting. And even Oklahoma and Texas and Arkansas, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a few thunderstorms pop up as well on the day of Thanksgiving. Now we're about to take a look at some of the other regions in the United States and take a look at their simulated radar to see what kind of weather effects you could be expecting for the day tomorrow. First off, taking a look at the southeast, you can see we're basically clear. We have some snow showers going on for West Virginia, Maryland, and a little bit of Pennsylvania there as well. And you can see portions of those rain showers that I mentioned before for Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. As we move on to the northeast, not a lot going on. It's going to be very cold, though, throughout the day tomorrow. When I say tomorrow, I mean Thanksgiving, because today is the day before Thanksgiving, so just to clarify that. We have plenty of snow showers going on for upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. These are going to be pretty spotty, but don't be surprised if you see a few flakes falling throughout the day tomorrow. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how that plays out for sure. As we take a look at the Midwest, basically clear with the exception of those moderate areas of snow there for Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, South Dakota, and probably making its way into Minnesota as well as we head through the day. But if you're on that border of Nebraska and Iowa especially, and that little southeast corner of South Dakota, be on the lookout, because we could see some accumulating snow throughout the day tomorrow, which could hinder even, local traveling. So be on the lookout for that for sure, as that would be creating a lot of impacts for the day throughout tomorrow. Looking at the southwest, obviously we're dealing with Ezekiel here. Very heavy mountain snow going on for portions of California, Utah, Wyoming, and then some areas in Arizona, New Mexico, and southern Colorado especially there. So we will be dealing with Ezekiel, and again, you can see some of those thunderstorms going on for a lot of the regions in the Four Corner States and even Southern California. Isn't it crazy that Thanksgiving would be the time that we see rain for Southern California? I mean, that is not a common occurrence, especially if you live there. You know that it's very, very uncommon to see rain, and it's kind of a special event when it does happen. And sure enough, we get this really crazy storm on Thanksgiving Day. Going to be very, very interesting to see how that plays out. Now, we're about to get into our total precipitation throughout the day today and through tomorrow, so you can see where you could expect rain to be falling during your travels today and throughout the day of Thanksgiving tomorrow. Now, mostly you want to pay attention to the blue colors because that's where we're going to be above half an inch of rain. And this isn't only rain, this is also snow. This is total precipitation. So obviously, if you're not expecting snow, then this is most likely rain. There is, on models, you can't really look at total rain. It's usually just total precipitation and then total snowfall. So it is kind of difficult to see. But obviously, if you're not expecting snow, then expect this to be all rain. All right. Now, again, in the blues, that's where we're expecting half an inch of precipitation to even 2 inches of precipitation. And if you're in the purples and above, you're at 2 inches plus, which is where we're going to be seeing significant precipitation. Just off the top of my head, looking at the map from a zoomed out perspective here, I would say the southern four corner states, some areas in California, some areas in Utah, as well as the upper peninsula of Michigan, which the upper peninsula there, Montana, and then those Rockies, and as well as the mountains of California, all of that is going to be snow. But for the four corner states down there, most of that will be rain. So expect a lot of rain for you guys down there, which is going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. All right. So hopefully you were able to look at that map and just find your location and figure out how much precipitation you're expecting throughout the day tomorrow and the day today and then the day tomorrow. We're about to get into our total snowfall forecast region by region, and then also taking a look at the entire United States as a whole, which is going to give us a good look of who could expect to see snow on the ground by time we're at Thanksgiving tomorrow or at the night of tomorrow. This is going to be total accumulated snowfall, so this is going to be what actually has stuck to the ground according to this model. First things first, we're looking at the south central United States once again, and most of this is going to fall throughout the day today before tomorrow, but obviously if you're dealing with a few inches, it will most likely still be on the ground in some regions. So mostly New Mexico there, especially the high elevation areas, we're looking at potentially 6 inches plus in some of those pink colors, and then in the purples, we're at about 4 to 6 inches, and if you're in the blues, especially the lighter blues, you're probably closer to 1 or 2 inches of snow there. Let's take a look at the Northeast, and what I find interesting is a few days ago, I wasn't really expecting to see much snow for the Northeast on Thanksgiving Day. This looks to actually fall on the 28th. So for Maine, the mountains of New Hampshire, Vermont, Berkshires, upstate New York, and then throughout Pennsylvania and West Virginia, we are expecting to see potentially 1 to 3 inches in a lot of those blue regions falling on the ground during Thanksgiving. And then in the purples and pinks, once again, that's 4 to 6 inches. And then in the pinks, it's 6 to anything above. But we're really just seeing 6 to maybe 8 inches there for a little bit of Maine. So expect accumulations in these areas, or expect accumulation to be possible at least for a lot of these areas that are colored in on this Northeast map. Now for the Midwest, the Upper Peninsula, which has been getting a lot of snow lately, is still going to be dealing with some snow falling throughout the day on Thanksgiving, so expect major impacts for your Thanksgiving for the Upper Peninsula and then northern Wisconsin as well. And then a little bit of that northeastern region of Minnesota as well. And again, remember I showed on radar that we would have snow falling for Nebraska and Iowa. Only expect maybe, I would say, a dusting to maybe 2 inches of snow throughout Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa. This is what this is indicating. The heaviest of the snow will be in Wisconsin and Michigan, and most of that's going to fall through the day today. But as you get into those pinks and greens, that's not going to be snow that can be easily cleared. It's still going to make impacts no matter when it falls. So today or tomorrow, it doesn't matter. It's going to make impacts of some sort. Now, for the Northwestern United States, obviously for high elevation areas, we are expecting a ton of snow, pinks, greens, and even deep blues, which is where we're expecting 2 feet plus 24 inches to maybe even more for some of those deeper blues there in Montana. Remember, we had that little blizzard warning. That's just for that area that's in green and even the darker blue. That's going to be an area where we see massive impacts, but not a lot of people live there, thankfully. But again, throughout the Northwest, high elevation areas dealing with a ton of snow and even some low elevation areas there as well. Now for the Southwest, We can see that we have pinks, greens all over the place, high elevation snow, especially for California there, as we see easily over a foot in those green colors. Now here's your whole United States. You can just take a look at that and just kind of get a reference. Now, very quickly before our temperature forecast, we're going to take a look at our wind. If you're in the deeper blues there, or in the greens or yellows especially, be prepared for very windy conditions. So you can see throughout the Northeast, it's going to be a little bit windy, as well as some of those regions on North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma. Expect it to be pretty breezy. But for Arizona and Southern California, Southern Nevada, Southern Utah, and then mostly Western New Mexico, expect very, very windy conditions actually. Throughout the day on Thanksgiving, that could maybe make some impacts. You kind of just got to think what you're going to be doing throughout the day tomorrow, because it depends on a lot of stuff, and really it just depends what you're doing. I wouldn't eat outdoors if I was in the green or yellow. That's basically what I'm saying. I wouldn't be eating outside on the picnic table. It's going to be raining there anyway, but whatever. Now let's get into your temperature forecast here. This is for the low temperatures on the day before Thanksgiving, or the night before Thanksgiving, so tonight basically, and this is going to be early in the morning around sunrise. So you can see the areas that are below freezing are in the blue side of that red line. That red line separates freezing from above freezing, so all the areas in blue are below freezing there. And as you get into the deeper blues, especially for the Northwest and Midwest there, we see those pretty common. We see 10 to 20 degrees there for some of those regions. And as you get into the whites, which is only for some of those mountaintops as well as some areas in the extreme Northwest, that's where we're closer to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see it's actually a little bit more mild along the East Coast and then the Southeast. It's going to be quite nice, only in the 40s for a lot of those regions, maybe upper 30s, so not too cold to start out your morning if you're going to travel only a few hours and you travel that morning. Again, a lot of this stuff is only useful to some people. Now, for your high temperatures, you can see we're in the 50s for the Southeast there. It's actually going to be quite nice, and only in the 30s there for some of the central United States. The Northeast, though, we're pretty cold, pretty close to freezing throughout New England and a lot of the Northeast. And then as we head further west, it gets colder and colder, especially for high elevation areas, which is expected. But for a lot of regions in the west, it's colder than normal for the high temperatures. And then your lows for the day, for the night of Thanksgiving, you can see it's even colder than the night before, actually. So a lot of these deep blues for the Northeast, and then the Northwest as well, kind of mild for the South Central United States. And then the Mid-Atlantic is a little bit colder. It's actually going to get into the mid-30s for the night of Thanksgiving. Anyway, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video for Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys really enjoy it and that everybody can be with their families. It's kind of unfortunate. This is my first time ever making a Thanksgiving forecast, and I've had to realize, wow, some of these weather impacts are literally going to prevent people from being able to go be with their families on Thanksgiving, which is just crazy to think about and so unfortunate. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this video informative, and I'll see you guys in the next video.